Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. This microphone seems to kind of go off and on a little bit, but hopefully it's good. If you don't know me, my name is Katie. I'm a holistic health and life coach, and today we are here to talk about your dream body image. So quite often when you hear this kind of thing like your dream body, it's all about your dream body and the body makeovers and get shredded and this and this. That's not what we're doing today at all. Today we are sitting back and I'm having a relaxing cup of tea in my very cute wombat mug with you, and we are just talking about your dream body image. So what do you want? And how do you want to see your body? So before we get into it, there is a little worksheet. Mine's in black and white because I'm out of color ink. It's over on the main page of the group. So if you want to take a second, you can hop over. Hey, Lauren. If you want to take a second, you can hop over to the main page. You can access this. It's just 2 pages. If you don't want to do that, you can just grab a journal. Grab a notebook, journal, grab a pen. I'm going to be asking you some questions. We're going to be going through this, and you can just write your answers down on there. So I'll give you a second to go and grab those. So Jennifer Aniston, please. We'll get into that in a second. Do you want the 90s hair too? Like the Friends haircut? Jennifer Aniston haircut? I think almost everybody had that haircut at some time. It's good. It's good. Pretty sure I did, actually, for a couple of years. So when we're talking about our body image and our dream body image, it's really easy for all of us, okay, myself included, it's really easy for all of us to get lost in freaking social media, okay? Instagram it sucks you in. I mean, all social media does. And you get looking, it's so easy to get looking at, the influencers and the fitness models, or if you're just watching TV or like walking down the street or looking at a magazine or what have you. It's so easy to see all the photos of everybody else and the videos, and they're looking beautiful and they're toned and they're tanned, and it's so easy to look at that and just go, ugh, I want that. Why don't I look like that? Why isn't my body like that? Right? Like who has ever, like if you've ever felt that, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, because I sure as hell know I have felt that for sure, without a doubt. The fact is, when we are in that situation and we're looking at them, we don't necessarily want their bodies. Just give me a second. This will make sense. We don't necessarily want their bodies. We want what we think they're feeling. We want what we think they're experiencing. Right? So if you are looking at again, if I just use Instagram as an example, if you're on Instagram and you're looking at somebody who is sort of your ideal body type, whatever that may be, and maybe you're in that like, oh, I really want that. What you really want underneath the surface stuff, you want to feel sexy. You want to feel desirable. You want to feel happy. Right? You want to feel wanted. You want to feel worthy. You want to feel like you're enough, like you're good enough, beautiful enough. You want to feel fabulous and you want to feel amazing. You want the feeling. And we have been taught, we've been trained essentially to kind of think that if you look like that, you'll get that feeling, right? Like we have literally been taught that those two things go together. And the fact is, as much as it may seem really foreign to you right now, you don't actually have to have that body to have that feeling, which is kind of cool, right? You don't actually have to have the perfect perfect body, the model type body, to have the feeling of being beautiful and amazing and happy and fulfilled and worthy and all of those other things. You can have the experience of life that you want right now. Just so you guys know, Lauren, I can only see like the first 2 words of your comment. I'll go back through after and respond to everything. I can only see like really short, tiny little things. For whatever reason, my phone won't show me the rest. But I will respond after I'm done on the video, I promise. So I really would love to start just doing the worksheet with you and working through these questions. So again, you can either grab the worksheet on the main page or just grab a journal or a notebook or a scrap piece of paper or a Post-it, whatever, and a pen, because these questions are really important. And whether you are live with me here now or whether you're on the replay, really do this, because these questions, so these are some questions that I use quite often in workshops. I use them with my one-on-one coaching clients. It's kind of a version of that, but they're really important questions, and it's important to kind of really dig into this a little bit. So the first question is, what are you experiencing right now that you don't want to experience anymore? So sometimes it's important to sort of recognize what you don't want before you can move into what you do want, especially when you're in that space of just like feeling awful. So let's just take a second now and answer that question. And it could be full sentences. You might just have like a couple of words, whatever works for you. So what are you experiencing in life right now, in your body right now, that you would like less of? What don't you want anymore? And I'll just give you a second. I don't want to rush you through. If you're on the replay, obviously you can pause, but if you're live with me, you can't. So I'll just give you a second. And then question number 2 is, what is your current inner voice saying? So we all have that inner voice, right? We all have that voice inside our head that might not always be so nice. Mine was very not nice. Mine was very mean for a very long time. So what is your inner voice saying right now? Is it you're ugly? Is it you're worthless? Is it you'll never be happy? Is it nobody wants to see you, you're disgusting? Mine at some point said all of those things. So really just take a second and ask, what is it saying right now? What is happening inside right now? And I get that these are not necessarily the nicest questions, right? It doesn't always feel good to look at this, but it's really important to just take a second and do so, because if you don't really honor where you are now, you're never going to be able to move past it. You have to kind of see it and experience it, even just for a moment, before you can move past it. The next question is, what are you not doing because of your current negative body image? So I'll give you an example. For years, through most of my 20s actually, I wanted, at some level, to take part in team sports. So my boyfriend at the time was an athlete. He was on all sorts, he was playing like football and soccer and worked out at the gym, and he was doing all these different things. And he wanted me to play like couples soccer with him, and I wanted to do it, but I never did. I was terrified because I felt like I was so ugly. I felt so ashamed of myself that I did not want to be seen. I didn't want to be out on that field in front of people. There was like 3 people in the stands, but it didn't matter to me. I didn't want to be in front of even one person out on that field, running around, jiggling, sweaty, red face. So I didn't do that. And we missed out on some really, really important serious bonding. And it really affected our relationship. Because this wasn't, we were together for almost 5 years, and this wasn't just once or twice. This was many years of conversations and arguments and misunderstandings. Maybe for you, it's, what are you missing out on? What are you not doing? Maybe you're not taking photos with your kids. Maybe you're not creating those memories with your kids. Maybe you're not taking that trip because you don't want to be seen in a bikini. So you're not going to the beach. You're not taking a cruise, whatever that thing is. Maybe you're not being intimate with your partner because you don't want to be seen, right? So, again, it's really important to address what you're not doing right now so that we can kind of take some steps to move past it. And then the next question is, why is it important for you to make a change now? So if you're anything like me, you have probably been struggling with body image for quite some time. So most of us don't struggle with this for a couple of weeks and go, oh, I need help, right? Most of us struggle with this for months, years, many years, maybe decades, before we decide that it's time to do something about it. So why now? And that may go back to the last question of what are you not doing, right? And maybe you want to stop not doing that. So why now? Maybe it's time for you to step up for yourself. Maybe you want to make sure that you're making those memories with your kids. Maybe you want to make sure that you're having that intimacy with your partner, or that you are going after your dreams and your goals, or whatever it is. Okay? But why now? And then the next question, so now we're going to move into kind of what you do want. Okay, so we're going to kind of flip the script a little bit, look at it from the other angle. So in an ideal world, what would you say to and about yourself? So before we looked at, what is your inner voice currently saying? What is that negative, that inner critic? What is she saying to you? What is she saying about you? So in an ideal world, if we can just step into that in a moment, if you've never had that, then just use your imagination. In an ideal world, what would you like to be saying to and about yourself? Maybe you would like to feel really proud of yourself. Maybe that inner voice, instead of saying, "Oh, you're ugly, you can't do this," maybe it's just, "You got this. You're good enough." Right? So whatever that is for you. And then I want you to just take a moment and list 5 words. I've said 5, list 5 words. Of course, if more come up, totally go for more, but 5 is kind of like a nice starting point. List 5 words that you would like to use to describe yourself. So this is similar to the last one, but this is very specific. It's a specific word. So right now, maybe a word that you use to describe yourself is frumpy, or fat, or wobbly, or ugly, or whatever, right? We all have those words. What would you like to describe yourself? Beautiful, powerful, capable, resilient, right? So get very specific. We don't want words, we don't want we don't want sentences and stories, we want one word. Okay, so we're going to pick 5 of those. Again, if you have more than 5, that's totally cool. But we really want to start sort of tapping into our own inner genius. Right? I want you to tap into you, not looking at the outside world, not taking other influences, not looking at Instagram and looking at models, and like tune that out for a second, turn in, and how would you like to describe yourself? And then the next one, and this is a really big question, so the next one might take some time, okay? So you may not be able to do this instantly, but what possibilities will open up for you once you've achieved this ideal body image? Okay, so before we asked, what are you not doing because of your current body image? So again, if we flip the script, what possibilities will open up for you once you've achieved this ideal body image? And maybe that is, going after your dreams. Maybe it's going after your dream job, your dream career. Maybe it is putting yourself out there and, starting to date if you're single, or maybe putting yourself out there in a social situation and making some friends if that's something that's important to you. Maybe it is just being able to go shopping, go clothes shopping and feel really good and not have it be a big drama, not have it be emotional, not have it be like a thing that drags you down. What else could you do? Would you go on that trip that you've always wanted to do? Yes, dream travels, Lisa. Yes, that was a big one of mine. So where would you go? Right? So let's get really specific. So if your dream is to travel, where would you go? Would you be on a beach somewhere? Would you be on a bikini? Would you be, what would you be doing? Where would you be? Because for so many years, hey Ashley, for so many years I held myself back too, right? And I didn't do the things that I wanted to do, or even if I did them, I didn't do them all the way. One story that I love to tell, because I think a lot of people can really appreciate this, is a few years back, would have been 4.5 years ago now. It was my first time here in Australia. I was backpacking and I was up north, and we did this great big hike to the top of this waterfall. Right, so we hiked all the way up to, it was the most gorgeous waterfall. We hiked all the way up to the top. And there was the most amazing views. If you want to see the waterfall I'm talking about, you can Google it. It's called Gunlom Falls, Gunlom Falls. It's in Kakadu National Park up in the Northern Territory in Australia. And I did the hike all the way to the top, and it was so hot and it was so dry. And the beautiful thing is, at the top of those waterfalls, there's these big pools that you can swim in. It's beautiful, cool, fresh water. You can swim in them. You have this amazing view. I did the hike. And everybody else in the group I was with, of course, got into their bathing suits, their bikinis, whatever, and jumped in and swimming. And I just kind of stood there, and they asked me, aren't you coming in? Aren't you going to come swimming? And I went, oh no, I don't feel like swimming. It's okay. I don't really feel like it. It's not really my thing. And the fact is, I wanted to swim more than anything else in the world, and I refused to be seen in a swimsuit. Absolutely refused. I did not want my body to be seen. I didn't want to be the fat girl. I didn't want to be the ugly girl. So instead I hid, and I kept my t-shirt on, and I sat by myself underneath a tree, and it was absolutely miserable. I was in one of the most beautiful places I have ever been in my entire life, and how I saw my body held me back. I will probably never be there again. And I shouldn't say I regret that, because I learned some really big lessons from that. But it was definitely a challenge. It was really, really shitty. So what will open up for you, right? What will you be able to do? So Lisa, travel in an RV towards the west coast of the States. Yeah. How awesome would that be? It'd be beautiful. I've never been to the west coast of the States. I've been to Vegas. Not all the way out to the coast, though. That would be awesome. And then the very last question, which seems kind of obvious, but it's not, is why is this important? And what will having that do for you? So why is it important to be able to step into, these new possibilities? Why is it important to be able to step into this travel that you've always wanted to do, or to be able to step into experiencing life with your children differently, or experiencing intimacy with your partner differently? Why is that important? What will having that do? How will that change your life? Because inevitably, when we change how we see ourselves, we change how we see the world and our experience in the world, and having that changes things. So really, what will having that do for you? Now, these questions that are on this worksheet are, if you just kind of skimmed over them, it might seem that they're really superficial and that they don't really mean anything. But I want to invite you, whether you're here live with me, whether you're watching the replay, take some time. If you need to kind of pause and go back over these afterwards, really think about it. And you really want to ask these questions. You want to kind of ask it and not have it be an immediate response, right? You almost want to ask it and actually force yourself to sit there and, even just for a moment, think about it. And ask it until you get an emotional response. You don't want the logical response. You want your heart. You want your emotional response, okay? Or your gut, I guess is a better way of putting it, right? So if we can just kind of step into this ideal body image for a minute. Right, so we have the 5 words that you would use to describe yourself. We've talked about what possibilities would open up for you. I really just want to invite you to take a moment, and if it's available to you, just kind of either, close your eyes, center yourself in your chair, wherever you happen to be, and really step into that experience for a moment. Really just, put yourself in this future version of you. So this might be 2 months, 3 months, 5 months down the track. And I just want to invite you to really step into that and almost put yourself into her body. Feel your heart beating as hers. Feel your lungs breathing as her. Put your hands into her hand slots, your toes into her toes. Really put yourself into her body and look around you and, just really feel into that. What do you see? And what do you hear? What do you feel, and what is that experience like? It's really important to have this this experience, so to speak, of what changing your body image will do. because it's, again, this is about getting out of your head and it's about getting into your heart and getting into those senses. So I'm just curious, as we're going through this, again, if you're live or if you're on the replay, I'm curious, let me know, are there any surprises that came up as we worked through those questions? Was there anything in there that you were not expecting? Was there anything that came up for you that was new or weird or different? Because it's really important to kind of address all of those sort of things as we ask these questions, right? This stuff is not easy, and I do recognize that. So the next kind of a little thing that I just want to touch on. How are we doing for time? Sorry, just need to check. That's turned off. Yeah, 20 minutes in. Cool. Okay, so the next thing that I want to touch on very briefly is letting go of jealousy. Okay, so this is something that people ask me about all the time. All the time. This is a topic that comes up in a lot of conversations, comes up in Facebook groups, it comes up in one-on-one coaching conversations, and that is, how do I let go of being jealous of somebody else? Or if jealousy isn't the right word, how do I let go of wanting to be somebody else, or wanting somebody else's body, or wanting somebody else's confidence? And I think, number one, it's really important to remember, and we all need a reminder sometimes, that Instagram, Facebook, social media, other advertising, the media, it's a highlight reel, right? Like, that shit's not reality. That shit's not real life. Reality TV is not reality. Many women with the quote unquote perfect body, whatever you picture that to be, are not really happy. They're not experiencing those things that you want to experience. You know, back at the beginning, we talked about how having a different body image is not necessarily about looking a certain way, but it's actually about wanting to have what they have. So it's wanting to have their happiness, wanting to have their confidence, wanting to have, you know, feeling worthy, feeling like you're enough, having that self-esteem, all that sort of stuff. And oftentimes women that have those sort of, you know, ideal bodies don't have that. And those questions that we went through, and, you know, what do you want your inner voice to say? And what are 5 words that you want to use to describe yourself in an ideal world? Quite often women that have those bodies are not in that place. Okay, so I think it's really important for us on a logical level to recognize that changing your body does not change your mindset. Changing your body does not change your inner voice, does not change that inner critic. It does not change your story. It just changes your body. That's it. And also, really, like, I love to, encourage everybody all the time to, like, you do you, man. Like, life is too damn short to be living for somebody else, to be focusing on somebody else, to be living somebody else's dream or living for somebody else's ideals. It's really important to kind of recognize your own uniqueness in whatever way that feels right to you, right? So again, this is your own unique body. This is your own unique personality. This is your own unique situation, your own unique personality traits, all those things. And also, as a side note, if you still want to change your body, whether it be for health reasons, whether it be for comfort reasons, you know, like, for example, for me, I have knee pain. And I know that that's because I carry extra weight, because I have been most of my life. So if you still want to change your body for these reasons, you totally can. There is nothing that says that when you love your body, you immediately can, like, never want to change your body again. Absolutely not. That is false. You can want to change your body. You can take steps. In fact, when you really love your body, and when you are in this space of really accepting yourself fully, what you want is to take care of yourself in the best possible way. And sometimes that means changing your body. Sometimes that means, you know, updating your eating habits and getting more sleep and prioritizing self-care. And all of these things can, in fact, lead to changing your body. But it's doing it from a space of caring and a space of love instead of a space of hate and loathing and disgust, right? Different emotions. Very, very different experiences overall. So what would be possible for you if you 100% embraced your body as it is? Warts and all, as they say. Whether you have warts, whether you are like me and you have stretch marks, whether you have dimples, whether you have cellulite, chances are you have all of those, because most of us do. We all have our own memories. We all have our own situation. We all have our own job. We have our own idea of what fun is, of what intimacy is, of what our ideals are. And really, essentially, it comes down to it's time to stop hiding. It's time to start living. It's time to step fully into you, into whatever that means for you. Step fully into yourself. Because our bodies, when we're in a really negative headspace, our bodies get in the way. We stop ourselves from living life fully because we don't like what we look like. We don't like what we feel like. We hate ourselves. We're ashamed. We feel guilty. We want to hide. So really, this whole thing is about stopping that cycle, starting to live, and starting to really embrace that. So really, to wrap this up, it's all about the feelings. All right? It's all about the feels, all about the feels. It's not about the looks, right? You can have any body in the world and you can love it. And you can have any body in the world and you can hate it. It's not about your body. It's about your mind. It's about how you see yourself. So if you want to talk more, right? I know this is a sensitive topic, so you might be watching this and you might not want to comment, and that's totally cool. I get it. If you have questions and you want to talk more and you don't want to post it here, send me a private message, send me a DM. I love to chat that way, definitely. So I really just want to encourage you guys, comment below. What is your biggest takeaway from this? Again, if you don't want to comment, that's cool. Send me a message. But what is your biggest takeaway from this whole thing, right? We've talked about where you are right now, where you want to get to. We've talked about jealousy and letting that go a little bit. We've talked about how it's all about the feels. So what is your biggest takeaway from this whole thing? I'm really curious. So again, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have concerns, please let me know either in the comments or through a private message. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being here. It truly, truly, truly is an honor to be able to be here with you, to take you through this journey. And I cannot wait to do this again. All right? I can't wait to talk to you. I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you for watching.